Welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in back to the Crypto Consciousness YouTube channel. Yes, I have been away for a while. I've been absolutely busy. Business has been booming. I've had a lot of projects on the go and they are taking off. So I wanted to just touch base. The first chance I got to talk about the crypto market for all you newbies, all those who have followed my guidance to come in to the crypto scene and invest your wealth and your capital. It's time for a bit of an update. Hey, I think it's overdue. So if you could do me a favor, hit the like button. It costs you nothing to do. It helps support the channel in YouTube world. And if you haven't subscribed, you know the drill. But anyway, let's move into what we're talking about today. We're going to start with the Bitcoin price because Bitcoin at the moment leads the market. And if you can see, the turbulence around Bitcoin leads and results to all the altcoins, even Ethereum and all the other ulterior coins that are below Bitcoin in the 10,000 or 11,000 list of cryptocurrencies worldwide. So we just need to follow Bitcoin at the moment while Bitcoin conducts the direction of the market. We've witnessed in the last 4 months this WYCKOFF distribution or this pattern, WYCKOFF distribution pattern, which is also known as a reversal pattern as well as a change of the bull market direction. And that, when I say change of direction, I don't mean long term, I mean temporarily. And that is partly to do, well, in the analysis of what WYCKOFF distribution is, it is to do with the market makers, the people with the big money, are manipulating the prices because they can then purchase it at a lower price, so they can drive the market into a new direction. We know the market has been just climbing up consistently this year, particularly from January 2021. We've had an amazing climb. You can go back and see we actually started that quite about October last year when we broke out of the $10,000 range, and then we continued our climb up. We had a big correction in early January this year, and then we continued it up. There were some tell signs that this was coming, so I want to talk about this. And for those who don't understand the charts, you don't need to know how to read the charts completely. That's why you have YouTube channels that you can follow, and hopefully people who, like myself, have studied and traded for many years. Nearly 20 years I've been in the markets, and not all those years were successful, but a lot of them have been, and it is really due to the technical analysis aspect. So TA, learning how to read the chart, but learning how to read into projects and what's going on with the price action. So to keep it simple, as I like to do, is we're talking about the charts means we're talking about the price action. So who's buying and who's selling and what the dominant force is and where can we see it playing out to go to and where's it going. We use some indicators to help us, so don't worry about all these lines, and I'll just get rid of the Fibonacci right there. So what we've witnessed is a breakout back in February once we resumed our bull market, and we saw some major corrections, nothing too big compared to the past, but big enough until we started to see this one take place. And I did make a video around, well, we're in the US prices at the moment, so around the 60,000 US price, which is around the 75, 77 Aussie dollar on CoinSpot. And once we broke that previous resistance line, it indicated a downward market was about to occur, and we witnessed that for a while. We saw a nice bit of a recovery, and then we saw a real sell-off and a lot of panic and a lot of media influencers, celebrities, billionaires putting out basically FUD, misinformation, potentially to perform this downward trend, which is what anyone who wants to buy something at a cheaper price would do. And unfortunately, with Bitcoin, it's still open to massive manipulation. Or just think about it. Those who print the money, the fiat currencies, which is no longer backed by anything, they could just print 3 trillion. Now they want 6 trillion. They've done 2 trillion. Where does it stop? And it's not backed by anything. So they can hand that money out to whoever they want. There's no real accountability that we know about. There's no transparency. All you hear is stimulus packages and bailouts. Sometimes that seems to be satisfying for a lot of ears, but really we should ask questions and go further and get more transparency. And in this case, that money could be flooding into any market, from forex markets, commodities, precious metals is a big one, gold and silver, but we haven't really seen a huge influx there. Stock markets, derivatives, the list goes on, but particularly we're concentrating here on crypto. And so money would be flooding into Bitcoin from those those printings of money, and who they hand that to, the institutions, the funds managers, who knows where it goes, and so then they take they direct where the flow goes. And in this case, if you had some spare few $1 billion, you could flood the market with sell orders. Then that triggers a lot of stop losses. From the stop losses, people panic. From the panic, people are in absolute fear, and so then they get some really low prices they can start to buy in. Now, if you note, this was where institutional buying came in, where the big Elon Musk pump happened here, and the market took off. But we really need to ignore the Elon Musks of the world. We need to ignore the players that come in and just want to make noise, whether it's to the upside or the downside. We really shouldn't give any importance to it. What we should be looking at is fundamentally the projects. Are they decentralized? Are they going to help humanity in some capacity? Is there a real-world solution out of a real-world problem that's being resolved? At the moment, Bitcoin has been that for many people. It has now become what we call a store of wealth, but it also has its downsides, which it's open to manipulation of big money moving and selling, buying, whatever it is they want to do. But so we now understand, okay, so this has been a manipulation to drop the market. Is it potentially going to continue down? That's what we need to explore, or is it going to go up? Now, what we've seen here, we've seen a significant buying area here at this price, around the 32,000, and that's actually where the market came to meet that point. So there's a lot of buying orders here at this point because they know a lot of money came in, billions of dollars came into Bitcoin around this area here. What we can say is, if this is where let's say a very common area of buying would be, and we can do that using an indicator. Let's find, no, we don't want that one, we want indicator. Okay, so here we are with the VR, sorry, here we go, boom, undo. So you can see here at this point of $40,000, there's a lot of buying support. That's what that yellow and blue line is. As the chart comes out further, up here at the top, we saw there's a lot of selling and orders of around the $56,000 mark US. And down here, we saw a lot of support come in at $37,000 US. The fact that the price has a lot of wicks. If you have a look here, for those who don't know, in charting, the body of the candle is the significant price action, but the wick tells a story too, because you can't quite see. Let me get rid of that. Okay, so you can see that the market came down. We'll get rid of the volume too, because that's currently in the way. The market just tanked right down there, pulled right back there, and then continued. It's tried to go up, and it's pulled back down again and had various wicks. Now we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wicks in that area there. So it's a significant buy-up zone. And so we saw this channel play out where we went up, down, and then we finally busted out, which is really, really good to see. So 1, 2, 3, on the 4th, it busted out. Now this doesn't mean we're out of the woodworks, but it does give us our head above water. And what we do look for is at least a breach of the 43,000. What may happen at this point, and that's for those who don't understand much charting, I want to give you a little bit of insight here. We could potentially go up to this, hit back the resistance. We could find that as becomes resistance rather than, basically resistance. So we pull back from the resistance, but the good news would be if we went straight through after a little bit of a test. We might find 2 or 3 tests, and then we might push through. Worst case scenario would be up and then roll over down. And at this point here, if we extend this, we might find that it comes to this point here and then resumes up. That may not be the strongest indication for us for that to happen, because then it has a lot of resistance here to the 36,000 mark. What we want to see is basically support at this mark, this region here. So what we want to be seeing is a maybe potential hit there, maybe a complete pullback to this previous becomes support, where that big buying order is, lot of orders there, and then it resumes up on its bull run, because we still are in a bull market. So let's take a step back, looking at the weekly chart. This is the weekly here. You can see it's a ridiculous uptrend still. It's pretty awesome. Not many markets do this, and so when you see a huge up pump, you're bound to see a back pull, a pullback, whichever way you want to say it. And you can see that that's now done some sort of sensible retracement, which is a correction. So if you just draw a line from here to there, we've done that. Now that looks a lot healthier. That looks a lot healthier than that parabolic straight upness. So we've pulled back down, and then we could potentially keep going up. I mean, this is if we stay in the bull market, this is what we're looking at happening, is the continuation of this trend here. If that doesn't occur and we go below this trend, you definitely want to have stop losses at this point here. You want to be seeing if it hits up and pulls down and continues down. I would like to see the $29,000 mark as the absolute lowest point you put your stop loss, so that you can preserve your capital. Because if it does go any lower than that, potentially down to 20,000 or lower, which I doubt, and again, we don't have a crystal ball here, so we just have to prepare ourselves with all the alternative situations and have our stop losses in place. But it looks like a healthy trend. We're starting to get that strong green candle, and that green candle will start to indicate this push up again. So this is where we are today. Let's have a quick look as well at another indicator. If we go back to the daily chart. So what's a daily? Daily is the time frame. So every candle you see on here, for those who don't know, is the 24-hour period. So it's a day chart. If you go up to the top left corner, I'm here in TradingView, and I decide to go 4 hours. So every bar would be a 4-hour chart, which gives you a lot more of the noise that's happening. On the 4-hour, we've broken out beautifully, and we're seeing a nice uptrend here, a lot of green candles in a row. But when we see a lot of green candles in a row, we have to watch out for the red candles pulling back. But it is expected at some point to pull back a little bit. That's natural buy and sell. But I'd like to see us go through the 43,000 US dollars. Sorry guys, someone is in demand. Bitcoin, let's go in the Aussie charts, going into CoinSpot. Same thing, we're going into a daily chart. 1D means 1 day. Currently it automatically opens as a 1 hour chart, for those who don't know, and therefore every candle is 1 hour. Candles tell a story. They tell you, okay, opening price, let's go into this one here. We've got our opening price here. It went down a little bit. You can't quite see it, but it's just a little bit there. You can see there's that little bit of a wick there. So it actually opened up at this price at 47,450, and then it dropped down a little bit, and then the buying came through, and it just sent the candle going up, up, up. It went up to this point where the wick is, and then it pulled back down, and in that hour it closed at that point there, that $48,775. Then it opened at the same price, and again it went down a little bit. There's a little bit of sell action, and then there was a pull up. There's a lot of buying, a little bit of sell action, and the candle at the hour closed. So it tells a story. And then we saw this huge volume coming in of buying here in Bitcoin, and that's what we're sitting at. No, we're not. Yes, we are. So just above that area now. So we're still on a beautiful uptrend on the 1 hour chart. You can just see there, everything's sort of pointing to a nice up direction. We're getting supported at this previous channel support. So why we're going into this is so we know that all the other charts have very similar stories to tell. So if we go into Solana, you know, we had a massive down pull, and then we've been climbing back up. We've had Holochain do the same thing, but we're in a 1 hour, so we'll go to the daily. Boom. All right, so Holochain's an amazing project, but we need to see the big news of the mainnet being launched before I think really starts to take off again. But we are seeing a bit of a nice bottom being formed here, and we're seeing a high low. So that's one low, and this is another major low. So 1, 2, this could be a double bottom, and if it is, we will break through the let's call it 1 cent mark. Once we break through that, we should hopefully start to resume our bull market again. And you can see we've taken a massive hit downwards. Bitcoin was a lot less, but still a massive pull downwards. Solana, massive pull downwards. I mean, the list goes on. There's plenty. Let's go to Theta. Big pull down, bit of a wake up resuming. T-Fuel's been a bit of an anomaly. It's been the one that's flying at the moment, which is really good, and that's probably due to the mainnet happening at the end of this month, and that T-fuel and the ratio to theta is definitely out of whack. I think it's 30 to 1. It's finally regained some ground to 20 to 1, but we should potentially see that go to 6.25 to 1. So that's T-fuels to thetas. So it still could be good value, but I don't like buying at the top, particularly when you buy really, really low and you buy again somewhere around here. You don't really want to be buying up there. But for those who have missed out, feel like they want to get into the market, wait till Bitcoin is above 62,000 Aussie dollars. Let's go 65,000 Aussie dollars. Then you might want to be getting back in. But that's not financial advice. None of this is. Solana's starting to go into the green, which is really good to see. But what we want to be witnessing here is Bitcoin coming back up to the 65,000 price Aussie dollars, and a continuation to the upside. If we, because where we are right now in Bitcoin, if we have a quick look here, I'll go back into the daily, because daily will take out some of the noise that we see. All right, let's close that on there so you can see better. All right, so there's a significant resistance point here, which we're coming to meet at the moment at 41,000 US dollars. And we really need to see a breakthrough of the $43,000 for, like I said, with this, as our asset becomes resistance, and we have the potential for the market to continue down. And if that's the case, then the WYCKOFF distribution continues. So let's have a look here what this, I'll put it underneath so you can hopefully have a look. Make that a bit bigger. There we go, ready to go. Okay, there you are. Boom. Okay, so WYCKOFF distribution, if you have a look at this chart, it is very similar to what we are looking at the moment. You can draw it overlaid, and you can see that there are slight differences in height, but the phases are there, and that's what matters. And the phase at the moment, if we look at this section here, from this, let's go from here actually, from that top there, which we call that the LPSY, we saw a push down, a big push down. Now, we could potentially be here, but my concern is if we're still only here, that would really suck. If we are only in this section here, the support lines of the LPSY, if that's what this channel is, then we'd see a pretty doom and gloom market. But I don't believe that's to be true. I believe the fundamentals of cryptos and this as a market in general, and all the institutional money and all the big news coming forward, all the mainnets being launched, just a lot of really good fundamental strong news says to me that potentially we've just witnessed this, and a potential bounce up is due. So we want to see confirmation of that before we get too carried away. So just be careful of buying anything right now. If you feel that the market's going to go up in your gut, then yeah, it's a good time to buy. But it's also, you don't want to get carried away with it. So maybe just buy 50% of your portfolio on a particular token that you want to accumulate, and then wait to see which way the market's going, then support the direction the market goes. So if Bitcoin busts above $43,000, you might start buying your positions there, as long as it's not a fake out. And the fake out would be to duck its head above that resistance line and then push through it, crash through again. So there's a lot of uncertainty. So just be patient right now. Hold tight with your positions. I know a lot of you are just holding tight, just as I am on most of mine. I have realized a lot of my losses, even if it's for your purposes of capital gains. You want to be making sure that you're not in a position of losses and not realizing them if you need to pay out some capital gains, because it's not being true to your portfolio. So let's say you've made 100% on your capital. Now is a time to consider you're going to be paying that. So we're in June here in Australia, so our tax time will be after the 31st or 30th of June. You want to have your documents and everything ready by then. So that means if you've got any losses, realize them. So close the position. So if you're down from $1,000 investment, you're down $500. It's sitting at $500. You can close it, realize that $500 loss, buy it back in immediately. You don't have to wait. You can just buy it straight away, or you might wait a day or two and potentially get a lower price. If not, it goes to a higher price to sort of be spewing. So you want to be watching the market and just if you want, just do it instantly so that you realize that loss and you bring down the amount of capital gains tax you'll have to pay on your earnings. And that means it's more fair to you, because if you're out of pocket and you're really sitting on some losses and you haven't realized them, then that could potentially cost you more money than you need to be paying. So be realistic and talk to your accountant. Find out their tax advice, what they recommend doing. This is just a strategy that I employ myself, because there's no point sitting on gains but yet you've got losses you need to realize. So the other thing is, you want to consider, if you have got gains, is there any point selling it now, or is it better to wait for the next financial year? That's something you have to weigh out yourself and decide whether you think your token is going to go up or if it's going to go down. If it's going to go down, you want to take profits, great, that's a good time to do it, and you can realize those profits and then you pay your contribution there. But always hold your contribution. So if you realize any profits, put away that 35% if it's lower than 12 months, or if it's greater than 12 months, it actually percentage changes from 35% down to 15%. So you then only need to hold your 15% rather than 35% of whatever the gains were on that position. So if you buy something at $1,000, it goes up to $2,000, you've gained $1,000 profit. So you then sell that position, realize that gain of $1,000, keep your 35%, which is $350 of that gain. That's obviously because you've kept the position within 12 months. And then you pay that off when come tax time. If you've got a loss, that loss will be deducted from that gain. And so it'll just be this balancing act of figuring out what the numbers are that you truly owe. And that's what you need to do at tax time. So if anyone out there is needing help with figuring out their portfolio, what tokens to be invested in, how to manage, what spreadsheets to have for tax, what sort of things you want to be thinking about right now, I am available for consultations. So I will be putting up a video soon with details. Right now, it's all the people I know directly. Later on, there will be anyone in Australia can contact me, and I'll make contact details available for that, so you can reach out to me. For now, hopefully that's given you guys a bit of an idea of what the market's doing, and I personally see it starting to take off again. I'm bullish at the moment. Once I saw this breakout, I'm quite happy to see some momentum return to the market. I'm not convinced yet that we'll be out until we're above the 43,000 US dollars. So I am waiting patiently. Once that goes through and I get a confirmation of a back test as support, then I will be potentially looking at buying into some more positions. But right now, just holding tight. And if anyone has any questions or anything about the video that you want to mention, pop it in the comments, please. And I'd like to hear your feedback. Let me know what your favorite token is at the moment too, and did you pick up any bargains, because there's been a few really good opportunities. Kusama has been a really good one to pick up a few weeks ago, because right now they've got some great news coming forward about their parachain auctions coming up. We've seen DeFi flatten out for a while, so there's some cheap buys there, rYVvK particularly. Layer 2, yeah, Solana. We've got Polkadot, Cardano. They've all flattened out for a little bit too. Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, they're all quiet at the moment. Polygon, Theta, great projects. You might want to be looking at topping up your portfolio on those. And Holochain's been really sort of pulled back nicely around the 1 cent mark. It's sort of just hovering at the moment. Question is, are we ready to take off? Are we going to be blessed with the mainnet launch soon? If so, then we should see this price start to go up. You've seen with massive retracement. For those of you who bought, we did do a call out somewhere around 2.2 cents to say, let's watch this area here, that the market might start to take off again. And it didn't. It retraced, it went against us, but we did have our stop losses in. So we got stopped out of those positions and we preserved our capital. And this is why you want to be using stop losses, guys, because, a market might go up and seem really exciting, but when it pulls down and it goes up again, it fakes you into believing it's going to keep going up, so you don't sell, and then it continues down. That's where you wish you'd gotten out of that position. And then once you saw it sort of flatten out, or you saw it really, really cheap, that's where you buy in. So if you see a really big red candle and you buy it, for day trades, you'd be buying it, and a day or two later, it's gone up again, so you'd sell it. And then you'd wait and see what the market decides. And, if you see big red candles and you buy it down here somewhere, you see a few days later, you see some green candles, you might sell out. So you want to be realizing your profits, and a strategy to trade is deciding how much profit you want. Most markets are happen, especially in superannuation fund managers, 10% is a good return, 15% is a great return, and 20% is an excellent return. You can get that in a week or two in cryptocurrencies. So, if you want to be making some small plays, it's not much to buy and sell. Your brokerage fee is 1%, it's tiny on CoinSpot. And those who want to refer a link, look down below for the comments. There's a link there you can join up, or refer your family and friends and they can get the bonus that my link offers, which is from bonus Bitcoin. So you can check that out. But yeah, you want to really be ready, have some cash ready to go, so that when you see these drops and dips, you can buy in and make some quick buys and sells. Right now, I'm seeing good consolidation here on this Holochain chart. Holochain to me is better than blockchain. It's more superior, it's quicker, and there's videos for that in my past videos you can check out. But yeah, you can see some consolidation, meaning some sideways motions in this range here, from 1.2 cents down to, say, around just below 1 cent, around the 0.0093. So we should see maybe a little bit more sideways actions, and hopefully a nice round bottom occurring and a spike out. Once we hit 1.5 cents, it'll be great to see, because then we can back test and push through it. But again, most charts are looking very, very wild, like these massive spikes that did really, really well in the bull run, and then some big pullbacks. And when you're in it, it's hard to believe that it can go down again, but you need to be prepared. So stop losses is something I can coach people on, how to put them in, how to take profits in, all that sort of thing, which is quite simple once you know, and it's good to have that prepared for all your tokens. But for now, today, guys, I might leave it at that. And yeah, happy viewing, happy investing. I hope you all have a good week. See you all in the next video. Take care.